Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. In this video, I'm going to be planting some species tulips. I'll talk about what that means in a minute. And then I've got some very large Amaryllis bulbs that will be planted in the house. I thought I'd show you how I go about planting one of them. They're very easy, and then they've got all that stored energy, so they'll put on their big show with or without me once I get them planted. But I thought I'd show you planting one of them. This is the third bulb planting video of the season. I planted tulips as annuals in the first video, and in the second video I went through lots of different bulbs that I was planting. I left the species tulips as a separate video. One thing I want to talk about additionally on bulbs that I haven't said in these three videos is you're thinking about the colors of the bulbs. You know, most of these bloom early in the season and don't clash with other things that you have in your garden that bloom later. But some things do bloom super early. So as an example of that, I have kind of a very bright pink deciduous azalea that's in this space, and it will bloom super early. And so, you know, I was sitting here looking at, you know, I've got three different species tulips, and one of them is kind of an orangey color, and it would have looked really bad with this azalea. So just keep that in mind. You know, if you do have super early flowering shrubs, or you've planted pansies or something like that, the bulbs do need to match. But most of the time, luckily, they bloom so early and they're done that they don't clash with most things. But it is something to consider. The first tulip that I'm going to plant, this is a tarda tulip, tarda meaning late, which is it actually is kind of a mid-season bloomer for us. But where it comes from in Asia, it is a late blooming tulip. This tulip, amazingly enough, has been cultivated since something like 1590. I think I've read before. So this is one of the oldest cultivated, you know, plants for gardening. You know, outside of food, you know, outside of food production, which is, you know, kind of amazing. Species, there are about 150 species of tulips that are native to Asia, and a lot of them have been kind of unchanged. You know, or we have improved, slightly improved cultivars of them. They tend to hold up a little better in our southern gardens. I did cold treat these anyway because you know, we're still right on the edge of where they would get enough cold to come back reliably every year. So I cold treated them, so I'm 100% sure they're going to perform well this year. We'll see. Hopefully I'll get enough cold each winter. They don't need as much, so if I get enough each winter, these will continue to stick around. So these are easy. They're crocus-sized bulbs, maybe slightly bigger than that. They only go down about 2-3 inches down in the ground. I didn't open the bag beforehand, and these are from Colorblends, and they're just beautiful, beautiful bulbs. I got these in 5 or 6 weeks ago, and I cold treated them. But you can see how absolutely beautiful these are. Most of these species tulips tend to be deer resistant, where the others are not. That's not true with all of them probably, but the ones I'm showing you today are. Again, I've improved this soil so much that all I really have to do is pull these leaves back. I'm running out of space in this little Raleigh. Less than 2/10 of an acre lot, but I'm finding spaces here and there for these little small touches of interest. The way I'm going to go about these tulips today, we can see the squirrels have been hard at work. There's an acorn that's got roots on it, growing an oak tree here. There's a white oak behind me back here that the squirrels got plenty of work to do. Let's see. I'll just take these, put the pointy end up. I'm going to cluster maybe 15 or 20 in this hole, and then I'm going to put 3 or 5 in a few other places around here. I like these. Honestly, sometimes when I just walk up on an individual one, they're small flowers, they're dainty little things, they're taller than crocus, but not as tall as your regular hybrid tulips, and just beautiful, and so interesting, and something that, you know, it's not super common to see in the garden. But again, just like any of the other bulbs, I've pulled the soil back. I'm clustering them, you know, maybe 3 inches apart. 2.5 inches or so down below the soil, and then my mulch will make up a little bit more on top of that. but about as straightforward as you can get. Again, the pointy end goes up. So this will be really interesting right along this back garden path. I still have a few spots, a few holes in the garden that aren't full yet. Drop the soil directly on them so I don't turn them over. Just like that. And then cover them up. I'll have a few oaks in here as well to clean up afterwards. Just like that. And I can use the leaves for mulch, or I can come back in here and use some hardwood mulch on top of it. Again, I've talked about in the other bulb videos that I've just pulled up a lot of weed seeds to the top. So keep that in mind. You want to remulch after with something, leaves or mulch or whatever. So let's move on to the next one. The next one is a hybrid called Lady Jane. It's Tulipia clusiana is the species on this one. This one's beautiful. It's got, I've seen this one over at the Ralston. I really love this tulip. It's reddish in stripes, and it's got a little bit of yellow and a little bit of kind of an off-white, and it'll match these yellow and white tulips over here beautifully. Again, something that needs to be considered. They're small. Again, beautiful bulbs that I got from Colorblends. You know, very firm. They've been in the refrigerator for, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks at this point. Again, same thing. They're only going to go down 2 inches and then you know, be spaced about 2 inches apart in this spot. But I'm going to go and plug. I'm going to go plug some into other spots as well, where it's just going to be 3 or 5 tulips, just a small number, because I think I have 100 in that bag actually. But this will look great on this corner. Again, I'm going to find acorns from squirrels, which actually look very similar to these tulip bulbs. These are very easy to tell the top from the bottom. You can see where the roots had come out earlier, and the pointy end is where the foliage is going to come from. But you don't have to be, you know, exacting with this. It actually looks much better if you have, you know, 6 clustered together in one spot in the hole, and then, you know, a little bit of space, and just random. Just be random with it. They don't have to be equally spaced, and probably don't look natural if they are, honestly. But there you go. All right, we'll just again dump this soil on top of them and pat it down, put a little mulch on top of it, and call it done. We'll see these bad boys in February. I hope you guys are, if you're subscribed to the channel, definitely be update videos on all the bulbs at that point. Okay, one more tulip. The last of the tulips, this variety is called Lilac Wonder. It's Tulipia bakeri. These are, again, beautiful bulbs from Colorblends. There's 100 in this bag. I'll cluster maybe 20 to 25 in this space. This one has, it's kind of a mauve pink with a yellow center. Beautiful, beautiful bulb. This is another one that every time I see it in the landscape, it really catches your eye. All of these tulips are going into a space that is sunny during the early part of the year. This back part of my lot actually gets kind of shady when this oak leaves out later in, you know, by May or so. It's pretty shady back here, but by then they will have bloomed and stored enough energy to make it through. So make sure it's sunny in the winter time and early spring. The other thing is all of the bulbs in this landscape that you've seen go in are marked, because I have a lot of shrubs to move around, heck, including this Weigelia that's in front of the camera right now. It's got to move. There's a Japanese maple that was planted here that needs to be staked. So I've known that was going to have to be moved, and I don't want to move it to some place where I've planted bulbs. So they're all marked. And again, this is the same exact operation. This is just one of several places this particular bulb is going to go. We'll find some more acorns. Let's dig for some more acorns here. These squirrels are hard at work planting new oaks for us. Raleigh is the city of oaks, so I guess these squirrels are These squirrels know that and are doing a good job for us. Okay. So again, 2-3 inches apart, something like that. You don't have to put them in uniform in the hole you've dug. I might put 5 or 6, 7 over there, and then 5 or 6 over here. So, and they will naturalize, form little bulblets along the side, and come back year to year. Hopefully, I don't have 2 winters in a row that we don't get any cold, and sometimes that can ruin the party on hyacinths and a few things that are just that we almost don't have enough cold for. To finish up the bulb planting series of videos, I've got 6 Amaryllis bulbs. I've got 2 mixes. This one is called Interstellar, and they're red and white striped, and then a mix called Amplitude. There's 1 pink, 1 red, and 1 white. These Amaryllis bulbs are big and beautiful. They do mark them individually in the bag, so you know which one is white and which one is red and which one is pink. And they're tied off again individually. These will go in the house. These are tropical bulbs, and they have all the stored energy, everything that they need. All they need to do is go in some potting soil, and they'll quickly start growing. I think I'm a little bit late. It's right here. It's December 1st. So I don't think they'll be in bloom at Christmas time, but they make great Christmas gifts. They'll be almost blooming, and it's the perfect thing to hand somebody if you go to a Christmas party or something like that as an Amaryllis that's about to flower, because they'll get several weeks with them. After these flower, once it warms up in the spring, you can just keep it as a house plant. Once it warms up in the spring, they can go outside. At some point during the season, they can be repotted into another pot, a little bit of fertilizer. They keep the green foliage all season. I bring it back in the house about before we get a frost in the fall, and that warm air inside, they rebloom again if you want to keep them as perennials, or they can just be used as annuals. But again, big, beautiful bulbs. Obvious what side the roots are on this, and really any potting soil. Just don't use any soil from your garden. It wouldn't drain well enough, but any kind of potting soil, peat-based potting soil, compost-based potting soil, bark, whatever you want to use. These are about as straightforward as you can possibly get. We put the bulb down in here in a way that the roots are down in that potting soil, and that we're going to leave about 1/3 of the top of the bulb exposed. I could put this to one side and then put something decorative in the container with it, but I'm just going to center this one. Again, I think it'll be going to someone as a gift. I'll get this soil really packed down around it, and again, it just needs water. It needs water, light, and that's it. Stay out of its way. It's got all the stored energy it needs, so it doesn't need fertilizer. But again, when it goes back outside in April, you may want to put some fertilizer in the container or repot it into a slightly larger container, but leave about 1/3 of the bulb up above the soil, and that's it. That's about as straightforward as you can get. Amaryllis bulb comes with everything it needs. Doesn't need anything from you other than the light and the water. So thank you guys for following this little bulb planting series. I think this place is going to be off the chains with all the pansies and snapdragons, dianthus, and the other colorful things that are out here. Stick around in February and March. I'll show it to you. Thanks for watching.